Hi YouTube, welcome back to Wtf Rc Cars. So Injora's been stealing a bit more of my money and we're going for the high clearance brass links for the little TRX4M, and the part number of these is just 4M77, and these are for the high trail, so they fit the K10 and the F150. We've got a few of the Injora stickers on it now. Seems we got a load of Injora bits. So let's bring in for a close-up look and see what we make of fit in these. So we get two of the high clearance longer links. These should be the top links, and then two high clearance lower links, and these should be your top links. We get a whole bunch of these 1mm shims, and then a whole load of these little bits. So what I'm going to do, and what I would suggest is the easiest way, unless you know exactly where all these are going and where they come from, I would do these one at a time. It just makes it easier. So first off, we're going to start with the longer links on the back, and we are going to have to remove one of the wheels. So let's see if I can remember what size these are and which spanner fits them. We've got a whole bunch of different spanners, and some of these fit and some of them don't. Here we go. So if I do one side of each, and I think what I'm going to do first off is try and get one of these links off, and then we can have a look and see if we need the 1mm spacers. Really depends on what you're doing with your axles, but first off we need his wheels off, just so we can get to these two screws. I believe it'll be 1.5mm what we're using for these. You do get a whole bunch of new brass olives. So I'm going to remove the center screw, then remove the screw that holds the rear shock, and that should release this link. And at the minute I'm not wanting to change any of the geometry from stock, which is why I say we can have a look and see if we need any of those 1mm spacers. So if we just back that screw out, we should then be able to get this off. And we're going to be swapping this with one of these links, and they have got the little Injora logo, and I believe if we look at them, the Injora logo's on different sides, so you can choose whether you want it to the outside or the inside if you don't want the Injora logo displayed. And basically this link is going to give us high clearance that way. So what I'm going to do quickly is let's separate some of these, because these are for the front and the rest should be all straightforward. So we should have another of them for the front one, and then all the rest should be the same. So I'm quickly just going to get two of these screwed on, and it's never my favourite thing to do screwing these little ends on, but these really don't feel bad at all. And I'm just going to see where this lines up with no shims, and then see if we need one or two. So first off, we're going to get them lined up so they fit, and then we're going to need a little brass olive in each one. So once we've got our brass olives in, let's reline this one. So for this, I'm just going to get the screw into place just so it can hold, and we can see how we're positioned compared to running the stock ones. So if we put them in, doesn't really look like we need to adjust anything on that. So I think for these we find to run without the 1mm spacers. So certainly on the lower links on the back, it doesn't look like it's twisted it at all. So I'm more than happy to just fasten that one in. So now we can move to the lower ones. I'm just going to drop that screw out. Then we've got one more screw across the top. I believe this will release both the lower arms at the same time. So it's this screw right here that we're going for. So if you struggle to get it out, you can just put a bit of force against it and just keep screwing it, and it will back itself all the way out. And then we just need to pop this top link out. So as you can see, they're both exactly the same length. So for this, we're going to get one of these. We just need to screw the ends on, and it's entirely up to you where you want the Injora to face. And some people claim there's right and wrong ways of doing it. For me, it's your RC. If you want Injora on the inside, the outside, facing up, facing down, any way you want it, it's your RC. It's entirely up to you. You could even sand it off or polish it off. But it does say Injora, so if we kind of line it up, flip it, so that should have it showing the same way as the other link. Then we just need as little brass olives, and up to now I haven't needed to use any of the 1mm shims. And if we just hold this up, it's pretty much exactly the same length as stock without using any shims. So let's try and offer this up. So far not too bad. And purely just for the sake of the video, so we can see where these are lined up, I'm going to drop the link back through. So I've just dropped the screw back through, and it looks like these links are ever so slightly longer than the stock, because it has sort of pushed it slightly to one side. It did seem fine with the top link, but the bottom link seems slightly longer. So that's got us links done on this side. So moving on, we got one screw here, and you've just got to remember the ends are different shapes on these. So if we just turn the hub slightly, you should be able to get this last screw out. And again, same as the rear, this one holds the shock as well. So we should be able to remove that, and then we're looking for the lower link that puts us Injora name on the correct side. So it should be this one. So we need one of these on the top. That should face in, and then there's normal one on the bottom. And again with this, you just want it facing up and down. So again, I've not had to use any of the 1mm shims so far. But let's see how this one lines up. I must admit, I do like the look of the black and the brass. It is quite a nice effect. It does look nice. So when we go to line this up, you can then get the end in position. You want your link to be down, giving you the most clearance, and then these links on the front, the kink goes to the inside, which is why I say sometimes it's easier leaving one side on as you're doing this. One, you don't have the RC in a million pieces, and two, you can just quickly glance and see if you've got the links in the right place. I know I've seen an awful lot of people trying to change these links and end up with the sort of the diffs at a really weird angle because they've got the links all mixed up. But that one doesn't look like it fits too bad, so should be able to remove this top link now. And I think on the front, I think the screw is on the opposite side. Yeah, for the links, so we're going to have to drop that wheel off as well. So before I do that, let's get this wheel back on, because we're not going to need that no more. Definitely think we need some heavier wheels on this TRX4M now. I think they'll set it off Really do like the Injora parts I've put on so far. The steering is fantastic. Only thing that's a little bit awkward is programming that ESC. It's a bit sort of all over the place, but once you've done it once, basically, you know how to do it, and you're pretty much going to set up everything in one go on it, so it's not something you're going to have to deal with constantly. And unlike a lot of ESC suppliers, the programming dongle and everything did come with it. So if we remove this screw from that side and then we drop over to the one that holds the servo in, this is where we end up with all the front end floating around, but you have just one screw that goes all the way through, and that will hold both of the front links. So let's see if we can get this front link out now. So we should be able to pop that link off. Now if we look at it, we've got just normal flat links on both sides. So we're going to have as Injora, I'm going to try and get it so it's pointing to outside when I fasten these in. So we've got as Injora logo, and try and get them just facing top to bottom. I think I used Injora links on the Losi Micro B, and I don't think I used the 1mm spacers on that either. These don't feel great on your finger ends, but if we look lengthwise without the 1mm, it looks about right. So let's start the fiddly job of getting this in. I want to make sure my Injora logo is facing correctly. So we basically got to slide it all the way forward, bring it all the way back so it sits in position, and then slide the front one in. I'm not sure which is going to be easier way of doing that. I don't know if it's easier getting the front in first. It is extremely fiddly and really difficult to get on camera. If you're really struggling with it, you could drop the whole of the front off. It would make it a little bit easier to line things up, but doesn't seem too bad, I must admit. I've definitely had worse things to try and line up than this. It doesn't look like it's going to be too far off, so should just be able to get it into position. Just a case of wiggling them around and just make sure your Injora logos are where you want them. And then that's it. So now all we've got is exactly the same on this side to swap these. So I'll get these built up and put them on, and yeah, show you what it looks like when they're all done. So we've got them all fitted now. No binding or anything, just remember these are the two links with the little kink on. They go to inside. Again, it's entirely up to you where you put the Injora logos. You can see it does bring these links a lot closer together. I know they're high clearance, but you're still going to hit your drive shaft. Now you could use the spacers to try and tilt this, giving you a different line on your drive shaft, so maybe something worth looking at. But that's them fitted in the sort of as close to stock as I can make them. Let's see. So it looks like everything still sits right. Let's see where the body shell sits. So yeah, doesn't look like it's completely ruined the look of the RC. Got plenty of travel, and it has added a little bit of weight to the underside of the RC. So we've took all the old links off. We do have two of the normal ends and one of the kinked ends as a spare. We've got 4 little brass olives, and we've also got all these little spacers. Now what I would do is keep them all to one side and get them all so they're all nice and safe in a little zip bag. And we've just got one trying to escape, trying to hide under my magnet. So I'm going to keep all them safe. Then I'm going to put all these stock links all together. And we're slowly making a collection of stock TRX bits that we're no longer going to use. So they can go in there with stock ESC and as gearbox. And we now have a whole load of links. And I think if we look at the rest of the stuff, that's his original servo arm, servo mount and servo. So I think same as the Losi Micro B, I think I've pretty much nearly ended up with an entire zip bag of bits where I could build another RC. Yeah, we're getting that way with TRX4M. But yeah, really liking this. I like the brass against the brown body shell and the black rails and everything. Looks really nice. But yeah, you can definitely tell it's added a little weight to it. I think next, probably look at the drive shafts. Because we have upgraded the motor and we're adding weight, so the drive shafts are possibly going to be a weak point. So I may add a little bit more weight to them. And possibly some heavier wheels and maybe a bearing kit. We'll have to see. Up to now, I think I just want to use it and see how it performs. See if we need to move the weight around anywhere on it or anything. But yeah, so far so good. That's the Injora brass links. They are part number 4M77. And they are specifically for the high trail, so the K10 and the F150. But yeah, let's wrap this one up. So there you have it, the Injora high clearance links on the little TRX4M F150 high trail. Definitely does feel a little bit more weighty now. We've got the alloy gearbox, the motor, the alloy servo mount, and got these little brass links on bottom. It's giving it a bit more lower down weight. Hopefully it'll make it drive more realistic. And it's the only thing I could say with this. It felt a little top heavy. But if I can help it, I don't want to go too crazy on the brass and metal. I want to keep the stock axles and everything. Maybe just add a bit more weight on the wheels. But yeah, thanks again for watching Wtf Rc Cars. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Share to friends and family. And catch you guys again in the next one.